Howdy folks, Coach JC here. I hope you're doing well, and for today's body awareness video, we're going to be addressing life's most fundamental movement pattern. If you cannot perform this movement pattern correctly, then you are going to find later on in life that you are going to be suffering with lots of aches and pains around your body. But as we get older, we're going down the path of assisted living. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we have our autonomy, our independence. Now, before I go into that, I'm going to request that you like, share, and subscribe. You will know a lot of people who are not performing this movement pattern a lot. So you want to make sure you share it. I will hope to see a lot of shares in my analytics. Now, if you haven't guessed what that movement pattern is yet, yes, it is the squat. But we're not just talking about the regular squat that we see people do when they just sit down on a chair or on the can. But we're talking about the deep squat, which is the ass to grass kind of squat, or we're talking about the single leg squat, which is really important. You may think that's just a show-off movement, but it isn't. It's something that we need to do on a daily basis. We'll go into that a little later. The split squat, which is where one leg is in front of the other. We can elevate the rear leg, so we've got the Bulgarian split squat, and also the lateral squat. We're going to throw that one in there as well. So we're moving from one side to the other of the body. Not to confuse that with the lunge. The lunge obviously means a step forward. The squat means that both feet are planted as both knees bend. Now, we want to perform these movements correctly. We confuse the squat with what we do when we sit down, but often we're not doing it correctly because we can just plunk our asses down on the couch, just collapse there. That means that we're not controlling the deceleration going downwards, which is known as the eccentric movement. And if we don't practice that movement, like any part of the body, we don't use it, we lose it. So those muscles will atrophy and get weak. Nevertheless, if you do a deep squat, you cannot get away without controlling that movement. So we want to work on getting deeper and deeper on that squat. The same with our joints. If we're not doing the movement enough, then we find that that range of movement starts to limit. So that's the reason why we seem to be getting stiffer as we get older. It's not because we're aging, it's because we're not doing it. Now, more important than sitting down is picking something up. On a daily basis, we need to pick something up from the ground, whether it be our groceries, our suitcases, our briefcases, etc. We need to pick something up, and we need to pick it up correctly. Our body has two types of muscles. Type 1, which is an endurance muscle, or for our posture. They're always switched on, keeping us upright, or if we're doing something where we're doing lots of repetitions of it over a long period of time. And then we've got the type 2 muscles, which are more for explosive movement, powerlifting, picking up a weight. We want to just do round about no more than 15 reps or something like that, and that's it. It doesn't have much endurance at all. Okay, so when we think about picking something up, we do want to be firing the type 2 muscles. So here's an assessment. You want to get a pole, a light pole, or anything that you can pick up. It could be a broomstick, it could be a barbell. And you want to place it in front of your toes. You're standing square with both toes just about touching that pole. You want to keep your arms fully extended. So at no point in this exercise are you going to flex the arms. You want to keep your back upright. I'm going to give you a leeway of about 10 degrees movement from your hips. So your back might move that way, but try and keep it upright as if you can. And also, we're going to try and bend the knees. So we're going to bend the knees to pick up that pole. Now, as you bend down, you may find that you get to a point where the knees either collapse. You may want to bring your heels off the ground. You might find that your knees are driving away from the direction of your toes. So you want to make sure the knees are driving over your first and your second toes. Any way in which you're compensating. But more commonly, people will hinge at the hips. More so that it's actually in line with the ground, almost parallel, horizontal to pick up that pole. Now, going down is not a problem. It's the getting up that's the issue, because the lower back muscles are not type 2. They're not designed for bearing that weight. So if you're having to lift your upper body up there, then the wrong muscles are doing the work. Now imagine if you're overweight and you're having to lift yourself on a daily basis. Eventually you're going to get that wear and tear and that inflammation in the lower back. But even worse, if you're picking up a weight. So if you cannot squat down without hinging over at the hips, do not do a deadlift. It's just not good for you. Even wearing a belt isn't going to help you at all. You want to make sure that you're able to squat down correctly. Now, you might want to do the stiff-legged or straight-legged deadlift, but that's for another video. It's a totally different type of exercise, and it's for working the hamstrings, but really we're looking at picking up something from the ground. So that is bending the knees as much as you can. Now, how can we improve that? Like I said, you just want to exercise that movement. You can hold on to something like a chair and keep squatting downwards, making sure that you keep moving it. Don't force it too much. Just keep moving. Eventually, you'll find yourself getting more and more range in motion. But there is a movement that I would like you to try that you will force, and that's the overhead squats. So you want to get that pole and hold it over your head with both hands. Again, fully extended. You might want to have a wide grip with this one. Okay, grip it nice and tightly and don't bend your arms. You want to make sure that the pole is not in your eye line at all. And then you want to squat downwards. You'll be surprised how limited you are in your range of movement there. A lot of people who I work with do struggle with that. Now, if the pole goes into your eye line, then of course there's a tightness in your back muscles. So that could be the scapularis that's very, very tight. But again, you want to make sure that we can loosen that up. It's a good stretch for the whole body. Now, I spoke a little earlier about the single leg squat, because every time you go up a flight of stairs, you are effectively putting a whole of your body weight on one leg, and it is in a flex position. So it's a bit of a squat there. Now, if you're just going up the stairs without putting your hand on a rail, then that's just the way in which we're supposed to be climbing stairs. So if you're under the age of 30, please do not put your hand on a rail, because you're taking away your ability to balance. And again, you're relying on an aid. So try climbing up those stairs properly, no matter how tired you are, without relying upon a rail. If you are struggling with it, of course, you're using that rail to keep yourself balanced. Don't put your whole body weight on the rail. Just keep it so it means your stability. But you are working towards being able to just go up the stairs without relying on it. And that's why you want to be working on your single leg squat as well. Anyway, that's a quick video for you. Like I said, I would like to hear your comments. What are you experiencing? What exercises do you do to help you with your squat? Has this really helped you? But as always, I'd like you to like, share, and subscribe. And also look out for my book, which I've just released, which is The Science of Sport Skill Learning. You can download it on Kindle or order it on Amazon. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video post.